It's been a while. Hi and welcome back to the Polymer Clay channel. So today I'm going to show you how to make a monster pot. Now I've done this before and I put it in the community post and I don't know if you've seen it, but my monster pot is this one here. So I made this, oh gosh, so long ago I can't even tell you, but the video is still up if you wanted to see it. Now I absolutely love this thing. I've had it on my desk ever since and I've had it in the corner out of shot. So you wouldn't have been able to see it in all of my videos, but it has been there. Now it's a little bit beaten up. Now I noticed once I've taken the photograph you can see a couple of the little balls are missing now and things like that. But I wanted to make another one because these are, as you can see, so cool. They are heavy, which is why they're called monster pots, and the reason why I named them that is because I don't know, they look a bit sort of beefy and monster-like, because to me that looked like teeth. I don't know, it's a whole thing. But I love making these because they're simple jars and you can make all sorts of designs out of them, but they become so handy once you've done them, and you can put your tools anywhere you like. So with this one, the tools kind of like go in the front, so if you're using the same sort of tools, they can go here, and then you can put all sorts of other things in the top part. But the one I've made today, and the one I'm going to show you today, is so different and so cool. So I'm going to make this short and sweet because I tend to waffle a little bit at this point, and this isn't the show and tell, so I'm going to put this down. So I'm just going to get into it. So here we go. Thanks for watching the tutorial. So this is the show and tell part, and the bit where I talk about what I did, how I did it, what I liked and what I didn't. But before we get into the show and tell part, I would love it if you would subscribe, and there is also a join button now, so you could join for $1.99 a month, and that is the greatest way to support my channel. So let's get into it. So I've got it right here. I'm going to firstly, as I always do, go all the way round, and I'll go out shot so you can get a good look of it. So all the way round, this is what it's looking like. This is quite a tall jar. This is one that was a candle jar, but it's one of the sort of the more deeper ones. Now, as you can see, there's all these strange things sticking out from it, and that is the idea of a monster pot. So what I'm going to do is individually I've got to try and work out how to hold this without dropping it. I don't want to do that just yet. So I've got to find a good way of holding this. So here we go. So the top here, first of all, you'll see something like this, and then at the bottom here you'll see something like that. Now there's a couple of these, and the idea is for this one you could put a tool in here and it will stay put in there. Now obviously if I put this down here, that's going to fall right through, so it needs to be on a table or something for you to be able to balance it in there, and that will rest nicely on the table but also in the pot sort of thing. Now you'll notice that it's also at a slight angle, and the reason for that is because you could then have a tool at the top here as this, and then a tool sort of pointing out slightly like that. Now I'm just going to go round and show you all of the other ones. So now you can put a tool in here. Now this one is actually made a little bit differently, so it's not going to tip out. Now I don't know how I've managed to do this, and I think it is based on the fact that I did it with the craft knife, so I kind of like moulded it around the craft knife. Now with the craft knife I actually kind of like popped it in like this and moved it around a little bit, so it does actually fit very well a craft knife. But what I've noticed is, and this is pure by accident, when I put one of these in, you can't sort of put it in from the top because it's slightly too small. This is a particular dotting tool that I use quite a lot. I slide it in and there it is, it's just staying put, which is absolutely fantastic. And if I'm honest, I've only just found that out, so this is a great thing for me. Now you can make this specifically for your own tools. So for example, if this thing, I don't know what you even call it, if this is your favourite tool, you could make a tool pot specifically for these things. So for example, you could have something like this part here with the hole in the top. You could have it really, really tiny, and you can have it just on the side there. So you could pop it in, and then this ball at the top here would make sure that it wouldn't go any further. Just an idea. So I'm just going to show you all the way round again. There's lots of different hooks, so I've made them in different places, and the reason why I've done that is that you can hold a tool in here and then slightly lower down but on the other side a tool in here. So for example, a tool in here just like that, and then this one here. Now it does look a bit weird, and perhaps at this sort of height a little bit dangerous considering I've got the knife right there, but of course it's going to be on the table, and it's just so cool to have something like this. Now of course, don't forget, you can also put a whole bunch of things in the top. So if you're a bit clumsy, a bit like me maybe, you can put craft knives or tissue blades in the top here so they keep them out of the way, and then you could put other things in this side here, there. This one will go straight through all of them, so I'm just going to pop that in there just like that. And then of course something's on the table, so it hasn't got a bottom at the moment, but you pop that in there and those will stick out slightly differently. So it's not necessarily going to be looking the most prettiest when you've got all your tools in there, but I tell you something, it's actually really, really cool because you can make it personal to your tools. So let's take these out for a second. Let me just have a look at some of my weirder things. Now you may have seen on my channel sometimes I use a ruler. Now these aren't going to fit this because I haven't made it for it, but if you think about it, if you use a ruler quite often or smaller pencils, you could actually make something so that it would fit that particularly, and then you would just pop it on there and it would stay put. Particularly if you're using pencils, paint brushes, all sorts of things, you can make these little hooks to match the size of the pencil, to match the shape of the pencil. So instead of a craft knife, for example, pencils are quite often hexagonal, so you could squash it in there and make it the actual shape of the hexagonal pencil, and then when you do put it in there, it will sit really, really nicely. Now I find this absolutely fascinating that I've made it based on my craft knife, and my dotting tool doesn't move out of here, so I tip it forward and it's not going to go anywhere, which I found absolutely amazing. That one fits as well. That one not so much. There's the not, no, I haven't got another one. But yeah, I made these rings at the top here because I thought you could put maybe rollers in them or something. Now I personally didn't actually think about making this for rollers right then as I was doing it, but I just thought, so if you had a group of tools all together and you thought, oh, I just don't know where to put them quickly somewhere, and this part was full maybe, you could then just slide them all in there together and they would all fit. Now, obviously I'm holding this up, so I'm being a bit kind of like awkward about it because it's not steady. But on a table, it's gonna look right. You're gonna be able to put them in there and it's gonna stay still so you can get them flat. Now you have one this side, and because it's slightly lower, the tool on the other side will just sit quite nicely there. So this is a different tool. It's got sort of more sides that poke out a little bit. It's sort of shaped, I think it might be shaped so that you can hold it well. And of course this is not going to be particularly great for this because I haven't made it for it. But if this was your favourite tool, you could make it specifically so it was bigger during that point here, right in the middle, or smaller if you wanted to hold it in there. I thought that was just quite a great idea. So that is this one. Now I'm going to do glamour shots at the end, so you will get to see these bits filled up and things like that as well. Now before I go into all the finer details, I just want to talk about these parts that stick out here. The sort of, they look a bit like rollers to me, I don't know why. But yeah, these have to be quite thick. When you put them on, you can't have mica powder on them because it won't stick properly. You need to do a beveled edge, so you need to have it so that it's slanted down with a tissue blade on one side, and then for the other side slanted the other way, and that fits together really nicely. So what you get at the bottom here, if I can just show it to you, is you get a really nice blend because it sort of sits together really neatly, and that way it creates kind of a seal. So therefore when you then put it against the clay pot, it stays put. Now the other thing I need to mention is what I did is I left it overnight. So when clay gets really soft and you've just made something and you think, oh, it looks great, and then you go and put it in the oven straight away, or it all falls off, or kind of slides off or something like that, it's because the clay hasn't settled. So you do need to give this time to settle. Now what I mean by that is if you go back to it the following day and then try and wiggle these about, they will probably break off and sort of rip or something. And I know that sounds a bit backwards, but this is what you need. You need it to be firm the following day, and then you won't be able to move it around so much, which is what I tested it out to do. If I'd have put this in the oven straight away, it probably wouldn't have stayed put. So that's sort of the trick for that one. Nice and thick. Have a sort of a beveled kind of, I don't even know what you call it, so slanted cut on both sides. You put them together so it's got a nice kind of seal, and put them on without mica powder. So it's like a 3-step process, so it's quite important that you do that. Particularly also it's important if you have the little hooks here as well. So if you want these on there and you want them to stay put, get them in the shape you want to while the clay is still warm, and then leave them and come back to the decorations the following day. Failing that, if you're impatient, put it in the fridge for maybe, I don't know, 20 minutes or something like that, and then you can carry on with it. So you just need to make sure that it's kept the shape before you put it in the oven. I baked it at 75 degrees Celsius for half an hour. I checked on it, and then I let it bake for a further 15 minutes. Then I turned the oven off and let it cool down in the oven with the door open a tiny bit. Now this isn't specific. Sometimes I throw things in the oven and forget about it and bring it out. I'm quite unspecific when it comes to clay cooking times, because you should always follow the packet instructions and test it out for yourself. I do have all of my instructions in my description if you would like a bit more information. So let's do a close-up. Right, let's have a look at this wonderful technique that I've done here. Now I don't know how much of this will be in the tutorial, based on the fact that this went wrong to start off with. I've had a bit of a week of it, to be honest. So this was kind of like something that turned out of nowhere. And I know I say this a lot on my channel, but to be honest with you, it's just what happens to me quite a lot. So the technique for these little tiny pieces here is black clay with a layer of gold leaf, and then on top of that is alcohol inks, and that is as simple as that. I used kind of like a little sort of air puffer thing. Now these come with cameras. I don't know if you know this, but it's like a duster or sort of an air I don't even know what you call them. Air puffer, I'm going to call them. And you can get them in camera accessories. So I used one of them to kind of spread out the colour. And again, you need to let it dry. Now, I did this a little bit too quickly on some of them, and you would have seen that I had very blue fingers. And the reason for that is because I didn't let it dry. Now, again, two things. You can either leave it overnight, or you can hair dry it slightly, or use one of those hot tools. I don't even know what you call it. They dry ink. Use one of those maybe. Not too much though, because it would bake the clay, and then it would be dry. Now this does transfer still a little bit. So what I'm going to do is actually paint this part here. I'm going to gloss it so it protects the colours. To be honest, once I've started glossing, I might gloss the whole thing. I don't know. But this has taken me so long to A, come up with it, B, work out the design, and C, get ready for filming, that I just wanted to get it done. I know, I also say that quite a lot. But if I was advising you to do this, I would also advise you to gloss it. So what also you could do is put resin on it, and that would work out just as fine, and that would keep all the colour in. I am just going to test a small piece here. Now there isn't a lot of transfer. I'm going to show you, because look here, there isn't a lot of transfer. Maybe it's just a tiny bit. So it is okay, but I wouldn't want to say how much it would wear over time unless you glossed it. So I do recommend it. So here we go. Here's a close-up of all the detail all the way round. I put the little dots in there as well. I call them dots because I don't know why, but balls sound funny when I say it, particularly on camera. I don't know. I'm calling them dots, and that's as simple as that. So I'm going to do it all the way round here. There's the top part there. And then there's bottom part. Again, this has got no bottom in it, and nor has this one, no bottoms. And yeah, all the way round. And then I did the bottom part there. I actually haven't done the bottom. Now the reason for that is because, you know, when you throw things in the bottom of the pot, you think screws or, I don't know, anything really, bits and bobs, you throw them in the pot and then you forget where they are. Well, if you keep it clear, you can have a look at the bottom to see what's in the bottom before having to pull out all your tools. That was my idea for that, and that's what I'm sticking with. So again, quickly all the way around. I know I've done this a few times, but I just absolutely love the way that this has turned out, and I'm really quite fascinated. So let's pop some tools in for the end. This is how you create a monster tool spot with polymer clay. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you again soon. Oh, I forgot to say, this is kind of what I use my bloopers for now, just have a bit of a waffle. So I made some pens a little while ago. Let's get them all out. So I don't script my videos. I don't kind of think about what I'm going to say, but I tend to have it a bit more together in the main bit. And as I've got used to it, I don't kind of like make as many mistakes. Does that make sense? So I don't go blah blah, because blah blah is going to get boring over time. So I don't need to do all of that. But what I'm going to sometimes have a waffle. So I made these a little while ago. And I say a little while ago, years ago now. And I absolutely love this. So this is going to be part 1 of a dog barking. Perfect for a blooper. Hey, shut it. Noisy buggers. Why are we barking? Is there immediate danger? Do I need protecting? Is there zombies or dinosaurs that I need to know about? Shut up then. As I was saying, this is something I made a while ago. Can't remember where I got to, but anyway, here we go. And I want to, I was thinking of doing like a part 2 and using, well, I'm going to show you because there's absolutely tons of these little tiny cutouty bits ready for the next lot. And I might do some pens. I thought it would be quite a cool idea. So I've got a whole bunch of stuff there. I tend to do, I mean, it's so difficult because I never know how much to make. This went wrong a bit, so I don't know. But I might make some pens, and I love these because they're really nice to write with. And they don't come apart. It's so nice. You have to get the right pens. So I'll go into that in my next video. I want to say Wednesday, but I never stick to my schedule because I'm rubbish. Really, really rubbish. So, my live. That was interesting, wasn't it? I need to work out, you know, that gave me a bit of headache, I've got to admit. It did. Gave me a bit of a headache. But it was good, but I don't know how I felt about it. I felt weird. I like to be able to stop the camera and have a little freak out, have a little moment, you know, have a tea and stuff, and then come back to it and be all like, oh, I know exactly what I'm doing, when I really don't. But I didn't, and I don't know what I'm doing half of the time. And up until maybe 30 seconds before I started filming, not even filming, before I went live, I didn't know what I was doing. I thought I was just going to have a chat with people. And then I thought, they're going to want a tutorial. Oh, what do I do? And I just came up with it like that. So that was interesting. It's kind of a quality there. I can think on my feet, I think. Anyway, so, and then it all falls off, or it melts, or not melts, but, or all falls, blah, blah. Or, oh my God. But before I get into the show and tell part, I would love it if you would join my channel. It's $1.99 a month, and it is the great way, no, it's $1.99, no, let's just get on with it, shall we? Let's get on with it. So I'm going to firstly, as I always, no, let's have a look. Where is the craft knife? Let's get it out. And now I can't find it. There it is. And then of course, when this is on the bottom, on the table, something else. Then I turn the oven off. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you again soon.